You're listening to iLive Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome. You are tuned into iLive Radio UK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and this is a platform and an opportunity for you to discuss topics never spoken but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting us on 0208 638 8503 or all the W's uk.iliveradio.com.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Today's show is Black Women's Wisdom. This show is with Miss Mode, Miss D and myself. Today's subject will be Race Part 2. Now, we've previously discussed race and our personal experience with race and how it's affected us and the repercussions of being people of colour and women of colour. To start our show today, we want to discuss the social injustice we face here in the UK. Now, this will make you think about a number of things, so I'm just going to put it out there. What are your social injustices? What do we face here in the UK?
I think, this is Miss D here. Thank you again for hosting the show. I just think it's really important we go in a little bit deeper because I think a lot of us don't even realise that we face social injustice. I think as a black community, it's just so, what word would I use? It's so covert that we don't even see it sometimes. It's so subtle here in the UK. I think we've just come to sort of accept it, and it's actually in every walk of our life. Are you in agreement, ladies? Or, you know, I know it's more specific on some areas, but I think it's just everything.
I really do agree with what you're saying. See, there's so many aspects of the social injustice that we as a people face, and there's different levels of it also. And when you really think of yourself as an individual and what you're going through, when you don't fit into a number of categories, it becomes more and more daunting.
I totally agree on that. I think like avenues, whether it's in the work field or whatever you're doing, it feels like, you know, the term where you have to always work harder or whatever, like
yeah your 100% isn't good enough.
Why should we have to always do that? Or why is it always instilled in us from young that we have to work as much harder to get where we want to be? But someone who's not from the black race doesn't necessarily have to do that.
They're just, people are not. I think we live it, we know it's there. You know, I have conversations with people with my own people, where we kind of just look at each other, and I'm sure, you know, everybody does it, especially us women. It happens with men as well. Black men and black women, we talk without speaking. We look at each other, something will happen, and we just look at each other, and it's like, it's that story that we know exactly what's happening. You know, you're not saying it verbally, but we talk without even saying a word, and we just understand the struggle without anything being said. And, you know, a white person could see that look and they would have no clue what we're talking about. They wouldn't even know what we're experiencing.
Yeah, and that's really like concerning, because when you see, we live it, so we know it. But this has been put on us by another race. Yeah. And for me, it's, as much as we live it, we eat it, we drink it, what concerns me, do these people actually understand what they're doing, or do they just not care? You know, it's quite an emotional subject, because who lived it knows it, and we've definitely lived it, and we continue to live it. Mm-hmm. And generations have passed, and it seems like we're still in it, even though it has changed somewhat. You know, how can I put it? You know, it's quite soul destroying that we've come this far, and we're still, it's still a fight, it's still a struggle, it's still like that recognition that we deserve. It just feels like you're never going to see that. And I don't know if you ladies feel the same way, and you feel as passionate as I do about this, because, you know, it's like we're second-class citizens still. We've impacted society in so many ways, but yet we're still looked down on in every possible aspect.
So my question or thinking would be, why are we looking for recognition from someone else? Why? I feel that we put down ourselves too much, and we need to uplift ourselves more. It's a thing of, if I had a child who was in, say, for example, secondary education, and they were doing well, I'm not going to tell them, oh, you need to work more harder. Yeah. You're enough. Yeah? But I think the idea of how this society is that I think what we haven't done, we haven't created our own businesses from early. Right? Other people have come to this country and set up what they need to set up, and then they pass it on generation to generation and so forth. Yeah. We haven't done that.
But why haven't we done it? I can answer the question, but I'm just putting it out there. So, like, why haven't we aspired to these things? Why don't we have our black businesses in numbers? Why are we not running our own banks? What is it that's stopping us from being able to do this?
I would say, I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to say, I think we tried. I think my parents came here. My parents from Barbados. My mum came here in 1958, and I think my mum and dad, you know, I'm still blessed to have them, are 84 and 85, Mm-hmm. And I think my mum worked, I'm telling you, she didn't have a fancy job. My mum worked in the hospital kitchen, and I remember going there and sitting with her as a child. My mum worked so hard, like peeling potatoes, because she was preparing the food in the kitchen to go into the restaurant area, like the kitchen area, to be cooked. She wasn't even cooking, I think eventually she ended up cooking. My mum actually was very happy, you know, and had that mindset. And I think, you know, our parents came here, remember what we've come from, Our parents came here, they came here with a very grateful mindset. You know, they were told all sorts of nonsense before they got here, and they were invited here to come and work, you know. They were invited from the Caribbean by the British Empire to come and work, you know, and they came here with these great expectations, and it was quickly dashed when they saw no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine it? So
it must be quite daunting.
You're put in a category of no dog. I mean, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. They didn't even hide it back then, you know. It was like, it was terrible.
But tell me, okay, so based on the fact that what you just explained, okay, that racism was in your face. You were aware you were not accepted. Now, the type of racism that we're actually experiencing now is very much not like that. You know, people dislike us, but they're not. They may say it, but the signs aren't up. So now we're in a society, or we're in a world that we know we're not accepted, but it's not displayed.
Yeah.
But people's actions are.
Show it. Yeah.
For me, I would rather know, even though I know within myself that I was not welcome somewhere, by a sign being up. Because what you're doing, or what they are doing, is they're sugarcoating it. They're making it seem like, oh, we accept you guys now because we've taken our signs down. But you could as well have just left the signs up, to be quite honest. That's how I personally feel.
They've accepted the culture, what we have brought over, but they haven't accepted our struggle. Like they would love our food, they love what, you know, whether it's our carnival or whatever we do, they're all up for that. But the real struggle they don't want to know, because they really don't care.
Well, for me, I don't feel accepted. I will never feel accepted.
I don't feel they've accepted our culture. I'm
Never.
sorry, they haven't. I believe they've tolerated our culture.
I agree, yeah.
I don't think they've accepted it.
Yeah, I think they're tolerating us.
Tolerating, yeah.
And for me, I don't need to be tolerated.
I don't want to be tolerated. Yeah, you're right.
And me personally, if I feel that way, then I need to do what I need to do. Now, it's all well and good saying we have racism and we're subjected to racism, but what are you doing? What are you doing to make our lives, our worlds better? Are you inputting to black businesses? Are you supporting your own? Are you doing these things that are going to make us be who we need to be? That is the question. Now, we can all sit here and discuss this and say, oh, you know, we're affected. Oh, what, you know, society, this, that and the other. But what are we physically doing? That is the real question.
As black people, you mean, yeah?
Of course, yes. I
think it's taken us a long time to wake up, I think. You know, I think, you know, when you look even at my generation, coming out of school, coming out of school, I remember at school, I was never told about going to university. We were shown, I remember the careers person coming in, and we were told about jobs in the social security. I wasn't told, I think they mentioned college, but it didn't even sound like a pathway to anything for me personally. And it's not the way, you can't do it now, but I decided I'm not even going to college because all my friends were just talking and they literally were going to have fun. And I think I was 16 and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to go because they're just going to waste time. So I had a bit of a different mindset, and now I would definitely not encourage any child to do what I did. But I feel those days you could actually get a job with your GCSEs, and I got a good job with my GCSEs. But that probably wasn't, I wish now I went to uni, I really do. That's a big regret I have now, and I wish, and I will do it still because I know I can. I just chose, I wasn't encouraged to go to uni. It was free then, can you imagine? We could have got 3 degrees and we didn't go. That could only mean we weren't encouraged to go. It was free.
But my question to you, you're saying about encouragement. Why do you need to be encouraged? If you want something in life, this is my view. If you want something in life, you go out there and get it. There will be obstacles along the way. So it's important that
when you're at school, but that's when you're a child, that's what you need. You need guidance. So we had complete trust in the school system, or our parents did.
I think
you went to school, you didn't think, you know, our parents didn't for a minute think
question anything.
We weren't. No, they trusted everything. You know, if a teacher complained to your parents when I was at school, my mum didn't even want to hear a word from me. It didn't matter. The teacher said you did wrong. You did wrong. That was it.
So technically speaking, having heard what you've just said, so basically your mother or your parents trusted them so much that your word didn't count. So for me, that's some serious conditioning. For you to actually, your flesh and blood, you don't value their opinion or what they have to say over somebody you don't know as a race, because we don't technically know these people as a race. We know that we've come into their worlds and we're doing as they say, because we are technically speaking doing as they say. You know, they say to walk this line, you walk that line. They say don't go here, you don't go there. If you're in school, they say to you, you'll never aspire to be anything other than being an assistant.
Or
you'll never be, or an athlete, or you'll never be a manager, you'll never be an owner. What does that say?
But I feel, so for me, I feel it all boils down to your parents.
Yeah.
Some parents, they will rely on the education system, but I feel as a parent, you need to educate yourself so you know what to teach your child, so they could have the bonus of the education system, but also have your education so they can tell you don't have to grow up and end up to be an athlete or some sports person. Like, you can do more than that.
Yeah.
And I feel that it always starts with the home.
100%. Definitely.
Thank you.
And from the home, and that you continue nurturing, teaching that child their worth.
Indeed.
Especially in a country like this.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
And you can't just, whatever you might have experienced
is one of your learning curves.
That's one of your learning curves. But for your child coming into this world, you need to make them so confident that if they wanted to be a scientist,
they can own it,
or work for NASA or whatever, they can do it.
Yeah.
Not because
Times
you see
times have changed.
Yeah.
I think
thank God they have. Yeah, we changed. Sorry, we changed because remember when our parents came here, they came with that whole Caribbean mindset. Children were seen and not heard. You couldn't even speak. You didn't have an opinion then. So go on.
And I think with regards to our parents, they did the same. They were seen and not heard. They took that stance. Yeah. They taught us that stance to the point that, technically speaking, they allowed things to happen, or they were subjected to things that they couldn't voice an opinion because it was made clear they were not accepted.
Yeah.
So therefore they were more or less silenced as a result of those particular signs. You know,
I think they did well. I think they did. Because under the circumstances, imagine you've come from a foreign land. You've come into a foreign land. You didn't, you got invited this time. But you got invited and faced hostility when you got here. They didn't expect it. And, they came here. And what they did set right, it didn't matter what island you came from. They joined together and helped each other. They were much more community spirited. Black people were so community spirited back then because they helped each other to buy houses. You had some people bought houses, rented the room to each other. That's how they helped each other,
Yeah.
So with that being said then, where they were a community, because I've heard the stories from my mum growing up and my aunt and stuff. What happened from them to then us and now this generation? Where did it break?
Yeah. And that's what we need to be looking at.
And that's what we need. Yeah, exactly. You need to look at that and see where it broke.
Yeah.
And we need to repair that.
Yeah, we need to build back on that.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's a good question. But where do we think it broke, in our opinion?
I mean, now you've put this to us. It's like, where did it actually break down?
So I've got a inkling, maybe. Is it because our parents were from another country? So I feel with the islands, for example, if there's a volcanic eruption or a hurricane, every island rallies around to help that island, right?
Correct.
So they've got that instilled in them. So when coming to a foreign country now, they know to stick together. Now that they've had the children who are born here now, have the children here grown up and just accepted this British society and not adopted what our parents had when they came over.
But that would have depended on the household. Now, if you hadn't continued to instill those morals and standards within your child, then those children who are going out into the Western world could only pick up new values. So you may go home and your mum says you don't talk unless you're spoken to, or certain things that we know and we've grown and heard.
Yeah.
But when you step out into the outside world, you're allowed to do all these things. Then your morals and standards are going to slightly change. You're going to make 118. Before you know, you've done a 360-degree turn, and you are doing something completely different.
We clearly, where it went was there was a big gap, and somehow our parents came here. I think they were just so busy, consumed with working. We had parents working to get enough money to send for children they left back in the Caribbean, which caused another massive problem in our community.
Yes.
All those children left back in the Caribbean just came here, again, not even connected to their parents, So there was a big breakdown of identity, and the identity, unfortunately, from the Caribbean just got lost. And our parents, I know me, I was spoiled. Like, when my mum used to cook, I said I don't like it. The food from the Caribbean, like our Bajan food, my mum would cook me something else. So instead of, I was, so I started eating what I liked, which was what was that? English food. So right then I began to lose my identity. I wasn't really taught. Some households obviously taught their children, and I think, taught their children about back home.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get taught. I got told stories of my parents growing up. I didn't really get taught any history. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I think my mum and dad weren't academics from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So if your parents weren't academics or didn't go to
you had no guidance.
Let's not get it wrong. The education is excellent in the Caribbean. It's better than here.
Yeah, 100%.
The standard of education is very good.
Yeah.
They didn't come over here fools. So the people that did manage to get to school, my parents unfortunately didn't. My parents didn't come over here educated, so they just got a job and was grateful to get the job and wanted to make enough money to send for children left at home. Yeah. So I didn't get taught history at all. None. Yeah. So imagine it. I've gone to school now, and what are they teaching in school? British history. Yeah. I don't even remember them touching on slavery. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember it at school. I don't remember it. To you, like a long time now for me. But
no, I did have Black history, but it was only about slavery. That was it.
Did they teach you much? I'm sorry, my memory's not that great. Did they tell you much, or was it? I don't know. How would they have come with that? Because I can't be.
They wasn't in depth with it. It was pretty much like a Bob Standard overview of what the slave trade was. And that was it.
And how great it was for Black people.
Yeah, and the thing is,
people.
Yeah, the thing is, me as a child in secondary school learning about, I didn't really take it on too much. I wasn't really interested because I'm thinking that can't be
all that I am.
All I am. I come from slaves, and that's it.
Yeah.
And what I must say I was grateful for was the Saturday schools.
Yeah.
It's Saturday schools. There was like certain parts in different parts of London or even in the UK where you would go to a Saturday school and they would teach you about your history. And not just slavery.
And you're actually referring to a Black Saturday school.
Yeah, Black Saturday
That's
school.
Correct.
Yeah.
For me, it was slightly different because I went to school in the Caribbean. So my experience from the age of 10 to 16, 17 was in the Caribbean islands. So my outlook and my values are slightly different.
Yeah.
But having returned here at 16, 17 to continue schooling here, I didn't like school here. I was not encouraged. I was encouraged in the Caribbean to be great things and would have aspired to greater things had I not come back here in the UK. So for me, looking at it, having the experience of schooling in the Caribbean and coming back here and just seeing how teachers didn't pay attention to me, you know, if you weren't interested, you were disrupted. If you weren't paying attention, you know, you had an issue. It was always negative connotations to any kind of action that we displayed that didn't fit into their criteria of us.
Yeah.
And I think to target us, and because they're technically speaking targeting us as children.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to be leading the way, but they're targeting us. They're tagging us up with titles. You know, we're disruptive. We're this. We're that. We're anything negative, but never anything good.
Well, they say from either primary school age, they basically don't have your best interests. So then going forward into secondary school, it's like they just don't care.
Yeah. They have not. There's no plan for you, basically.
And the thing is,
well, why do we think they're leading the way for us anyway? Why do we think that?
But we
they're not
believe.
leading the way for us. They lead us where? They're not leading the way for us.
But
They're
technically,
just trying to hold on to what they have, and that's why there's a fear of us. They're just trying to.
But
they know how to make their money in this country, and it's off of our backs. Yeah.
yeah,
and
but
all they're trying to do is hold on to it.
yeah, but they have this. They have the power to dictate. We don't
Correct.
have the power to dictate. We don't have the power to make statements or comments or make a statement or comment that stands for anything, because they would just shut us down. They know we don't have the power to take us to another level. So therefore, they can fill our heads with foolish gestures and things that we will gravitate to and have gravitated to.
How do we get power? That's the question. We don't have, I would say this, we don't have power divided. We have more power than we think we do together. We have a lot together, and we can actually start to make change. We definitely can, together. It does not work fragmented, and it does not work when we fight each other. But together, we have power, which is why we've constantly been worked on. The job they've done on us is so clever. You've got to hand it to them. It's so cool and clever.
Very calculated,
You've got to hand it to them.
very,
I mean,
very well planned.
The mastermind behind the whole system has been a genius, because they've actually understood us better than we understood ourselves quite quickly, and worked out how to destroy us and keep us divided as a whole community.
Well,
and it's worked for years and years and years. Yeah,
we are a business for them. All that they have done is for their benefit. It's not for us to benefit. And until we actually wake up, and I say wake up because a lot of us are sleeping. Okay,
I know.
We're buying into things that we know we will never fit into. Why? I really can't answer that question. I'm not one of them. But there are numbers of us out there. We say one thing, but we do another. Okay? You say you want Black Lives Matter, and, you know, you want to buy your own. You do it for a month or two, and then you go back to where you're at, because you go back to your comfort zone, because you're living that lavish life. You've had experiences, you've had opportunities through the Western world that you're comfortable. But you're not thinking about your fellow brother or sister who's trying to make it. You know, we have our people of our own colour who make it to the top, and they stay at the top on their own.
yeah.
They don't help any of us up. You know, they're more interested in fighting us down and, you know, creating hostility between us, dividing us, as we've been taught to be kept divided. Now, there's conditioning. At some point, when are you going to realise what you're doing in this society that we live in is going to make a change, and you actually say, okay, something has to change. I personally need to do something, because it's not about passing the buck onto someone else and saying, "Oh, you're not doing, and you're not doing." What are you doing? What are you doing? Can you put your hands up and say that I am doing for my people? Am I doing what it takes to bring my brother or my sister to walk in line with me? Now, that's a question that you as an individual would have to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're not asking yourself that question, it's time to ask yourself that question.
Yeah, you're correct. That's spot on.
but the thing is, it's like we talk and we do a lot of talking. Now, for me, I'll be honest, I get fed up with talking.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a person who's about action. So it's like, if I have to start it, I'll start it and let everybody know, like, this is the action we need to take. Because we can talk forever and ever and nothing's being done. And then I think that's what we've been doing too much of. And I tell you what gets on my nerves, it's like, we need to stop relying on these corporations and so forth, people, because we know how creative we are. We set trends. We make things go viral by doing the smallest of things, right? Our culture as itself,
Yeah.
like, no other culture can compare.
No.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, straight up.
While we're being copied, if we were so terrible at everything, why is everything we got being copied? Like, our music is terrible. The lyrics to our music are terrible. It's violent. It's this, it's that. But they can literally sing every song, every terrible drill song that's being banned. They'll sing every lyric. Yeah, they'll know every lyric. The young people know. The white young people know every lyric, and they sing it. Yeah, you've got the women. Literally, it's the lips. It's the fake bottom now. It's everything. They want our shape. They want long hair extensions. We've been weaving hair for years and years and years. I mean, now they weave their hair. I mean, I don't have a problem with you wanting to look like us, because I think we're beautiful women. All shades and colour, all sizes. But please don't try to tear us down at the same time as copying us, please, yeah?
You see, when you talk about music, and I do want to go in on the music topic, because you said about lyrics, and whatever we portray or put out there is always of a negative connotation. But you, as a people, we are branded as a result of that. But it's not a problem for us to produce that music.
Exactly.
Because it's a reflection of us, because that's who we are as a people. We're angry, we're always cussing, we're always, using profanities. But we need to look at that. So if you know that we are already being looked at as a people, why are you singing those lyrics? Why are you entertaining that forum that they've created for you? Yes. So take a look at that.
Yeah. The music thing, I know, because I know it's a real trigger sometimes, and it's a sore spot. Because, like, some of that drill music, because drill's just a beat, it's not actually the lyrics, but we know we've now condemned all drill music. There's Christian drill, yeah? Drill's not all horrific. But then, if you think about it, right, and I don't condone any of the violence we have. I don't condone it. I don't want my children dying. I don't care what colour you are. I don't want anybody dying, yeah? But we know we've got a big problem in our community. That needs to be looked at, but that's a separate subject, yeah? We know. We're not denying it. I don't deny it. I'm a mother, yeah? But some of these young boys, for instance, that bring out some of these lyrics, if that's the life they know and they see a way of getting out of it, I think the only thing they think they can do is become a big artist, music artist. So they will sing about what they live. And some of them are living it, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
so is that
exactly.
a bad thing? Is that a bad thing?
Because, I mean, what else can they
haven't got anything else. So
rap about or, talk about? It's what they see every day.
But in how can I put it? There's music and there's music, okay? You can sing about your life, but you can go out and do research. You can find other ways of actually displaying or expressing yourself. So I understand, yes, drill music is a beat, but the lyrics behind and the content can be different. Yes, because our journeys and our experiences don't always have to be negative. We're not all. We don't all come from a bad back. There are good things and good aspects of our life. there may be areas that are maybe bad in our lives, but they're not everything about us. And I find that people just tend to home in on the negative and forget about the positive. I understand.
We bring out loads of different music. I mean, you've got young artists that bring out R&B love songs. You've got everything. So drill is just one aspect of...
It's just one genre.
And the negative drill is just one genre.
It's a venting genre.
We've got everything. We go across the whole spectrum, don't we?
Well, of course we do.
With music, we lead. I think we lead with music.
We're the blueprint.
We are.
Let's not be hypocrites. We've been listening to negative music. Some of the old records that come on, especially the bashment ones, when I now listen to the lyrics of what I used to dance to when I was like 19, I'm like, wow, I never used to actually listen. I just like the music.
Yeah, it's the beat.
When you listen to the lyrics, let's not be hypocrites. We've been listening to this stuff for years.
Oh, yeah.
About murder.
Yeah.
And
we've been listening.
And also, even with regards to the older artists back in the day, their lyrics were their experience. You know, they weren't able to go in front of the white audience. They were only, their journey. They had to sit in the back. They weren't allowed to come through the same door. They sang about those experiences, but they weren't negative.
No,
because for society, it was okay for them to talk about their struggle. But now we put a beat on it. It's negative. It's violent. So it's like nothing's actually changed. It's just children are listening to heavier beats. Before it would have been a jazz guitar, a six-piece band in the background, because that's what society wanted, because they were entertaining a certain type of people. Now you're entertaining the world, and you want the world to know your struggle. It's a different ball game, completely.
Yeah.
So music hasn't really changed.
A lot of them are very, very, very talented. A lot of
course they are.
Listen to some of the lyrics. They're poetic. Don't condemn them. Listen to the lyrics. I mean, they condemned a lot of films that we bring out. Blue Story. Oh, it's this, it's that. People are talking about their lives. And in all of those, I mean, is it Top Boy? I can't watch it because I think I saw one episode. I can't take it because it just hurts me. But my daughter keeps saying, Mum, you've got to watch it. It's the story. She said, Mum, when you watch it, you get to really understand the struggle that some of our community actually faces. It's not all. And I would say again, probably it's a minority. It's not the majority as they make you think.
Yeah.
But there's a real struggle, and don't tell me that and there's girls as well, but we'll talk about, we mainly see the boys. I do anyway. Don't tell me no 7-year-old black boy says, I've spoken to loads of kids. I've never spoken to one that tells me they want to be a gangster. They want to be firemen, they want to be policemen. So at some point in their young lives, it changes.
Of course it does, yeah.
It changes.
I think it's a lot to do with the exposure. The exposure. Television is a very wicked thing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I call it television.
But not only that, it could be what you see in the home as well.
Well, yes. So I think we need to open our minds up to bigger and better things. Yes, there are certain things that are on TV. Educate yourself. You need to educate yourself. If you're not educated, there's nothing stopping you from bettering yourself and educating yourself. Where there are areas that you're not familiar with or things that you don't know and you can't input in a conversation, go and do your research. It's as simple as that.
Can I say as well, don't rely. Let's stop relying on our young people to change the world, because as older people, more mature, black people, we have a big responsibility to make change as well. Because I hear a lot of the young people.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind my young people, but it's my responsibility too. And it's never too late. Let me tell you, I've learned more in the last 3 years than I think I've learned in my whole adult life.
Yeah.
It's never too late. It really isn't. There's so much out there to learn now. Come on, we've got no excuse.
I agree. So, with regards to our children, like the music, I feel like they're demonizing our children. I don't know if you guys agree. Like everything that they do is wrong.
Yeah.
Bad.
And why are they doing this? Is the question that I really like. I would like someone to really kind of
express how they feel about that, because it's a really sore subject.
So I think for our mindset is, why do we care what they think? Why are we not changing our mindsets to like not really care what they've got to say? This is our journey. Yeah. This is what I've experienced. I'm going to express it.
Yeah.
Whoever likes it and wants to buy it, so be it. But we need, us as black people, we need to change our mindset and the way of how we think.
100%.
We know that we are the blueprint. We are the creators of what we put out.
Yeah.
Because they're always following us.
Yeah.
They're waiting. While we talk, they're waiting to see what we're going to do next. And then they're ready to try and grab that, turn it around and call it something else and make it their own.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for years. That's
right.
Indeed.
So then we don't need to worry about what they think about us. We need to just really rally around with each other, not stay in our little cliques, because you know they're in the black community. There's cliques,
yes,
right?
Indeed.
You've got you might have your people who love their little designer wear,
yes,
but then you would have the pro-black people who will not integrate with them. Why not?
Why not?
You have the same skin colour.
Yeah.
You're the same.
So do you feel, based on that, do you think that's a lot to do with the conditioning?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. But it's like you can't just stay on that, you know, that wheel and keep running on that wheel.
How are we
going to
break that? How are we going to break that?
Well, all right, for example, for myself, I've made a conscious decision on my show that I'm going to continue highlighting black-owned businesses and not just talk about them one time and then
forget
that's
it.
it.
Yeah.
I want to keep reminding people these products and services are out there.
It's transitioning time for us.
And you have to keep doing it.
Yes.
Don't be lazy about it. Don't be like, you know, oh, I've done this for 3 months and, oh, you know what, it's boring now. No, you can't do that. Yeah. Remember, they don't see us here in Britain as this is our country. They don't.
No, they never will.
And they will never will. So, with that being said, we've just got to start really coming together. Whatever thoughts we had of each other in the past, we need to squash that and come together, because day we are joining forces and we're in that abundance, unity, they're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
They're going to have a major problem.
And they know this. They know this.
Yeah. Can I add, listening, and I know anybody listening to this show, wherever they are, and, you know, whatever colour you are as well, because it's important. We don't have the issue with anybody.
No.
It's been put on us.
Right.
So I'm fed up of explaining, because, in fact, I'm finished explaining, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't have an issue with white, Indian, I don't care where you're from.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a people. I accept everybody for who they are. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't accept me. So you need to go and re-educate yourself. It's not for us to keep telling you what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to now make an effort. You know, you've now said, okay, you realise you didn't see it before. You realise that, you know, black people aren't happy with their lot. Quite rightly, it's taken you a long time to open your eyes. What I would say is, we've still got a hell of a lot of... We've got white people that don't even know, or don't, you know, they don't realise that there's even... They'll say to me, and it's been said, and they don't mean it in a nasty way either. They don't see it. They don't live it. They don't see what I'm saying, yeah? Mm-hmm. So when I say, when I went to work, I acted different, they don't think I did.
Yeah, because they're not experiencing anything. For as far as they're concerned, they don't have anything to look at.
They don't have to think about it.
They don't have to. Yeah, there's nothing in their life that warrants them to think about anything that they might be subject, because they're not subjected to anything. It's us who are people of colour that are subjected. We're judged on the way we dress, our hair, you know, how we talk, you know, the things that we say. Every aspect of us is a problem to somebody who is not a person of colour. We're judged on every single thing that we say or do. We are judged as a being. Now, how do you turn that around? You can't. Because we're living in a society who does not accept and will not accept. And as much as you may think, oh, change has come, they will never accept us. I can say that with my hand on my heart. We need to make a change. We need to better ourselves. We need to go out there and do all that they've been doing and more and better, and recognise who we actually are. I think until we realise who we are as a people and our capabilities and where we truly come from is the day that we're going to actually realise what we can do, where we can go, and who we actually are. Until then...
Perfect. Exactly.
I don't know what may happen.
What I'm going to add here is, as well, it's important we say this, because this isn't about hatred of anybody.
No way.
This isn't about me hating white people, because I promise you, I don't hate anybody. I struggle to hate people that have wronged me, my own people. I don't hate anyone, yeah? But what I am going to do is know my worth and learn about, we need to know just how everybody is happy in their own bubbles living.
Yes.
As black people, we need to know our worth. We need to take responsibility for that, because nobody is going to do it for us as a people. We need to come together. And I would say that there's quite a few positive steps we can start making. They're little, but we need to start doing it. We can't keep waiting for the world to change. The media will forever demonise our kids.
Yes.
But all I keep saying to people is, we've got to remember, there's 3% of black people in the UK. 3%. It's tiny.
Yeah.
The majority are in London. 1.9 million in London. Yeah? Out of the 3% in the UK. How on earth could we be committing all the crime? How is that possible?
It's highly impossible, isn't it? Absolutely rubbish. But the media will show us in every aspect what they want us to see. And unfortunately, we've got black people who buy into it, and the white people who don't know better will buy into it too. Why wouldn't they? Yeah? But have you guys noticed something that I've noticed a lot on the telly lately? If you watch telly, all the adverts lately are pushing mixed couples.
Oh yeah.
It will be a black man, a white woman, and a mixed race child. Have you noticed it?
Yeah.
That's
black
their
nuclear families.
So what that is that's a way of them saying, "Oh, we accept you. Oh, we accept."
No, I don't know. It's like, to me,
I think there's a hidden agenda.
Of course there is, but I'm trying to say,
where's the black?
It's the visuals.
Family?
We feed off of visuals. When we see a black person on the TV,
I get excited still. That's a joke.
People get excited. Oh, yes, see, we are accepted. Things have changed.
No.
When you see a black family, on the TV, that's when you know that change has come. Until then, Well, I say come because at the end of the day, you won't see it in your lifetime. And if you do see it in your lifetime, something drastic would have had to happen to us as a race for that to happen. Because we're not accepted on that level.
It will come.
We're not accepted on that level for them to allow us to have a platform. For us to be able to shine. Not that we need to shine, because we come from a great background. But they only want to classify us as nothings. And I believe that as a race, a lot of us believe we're nothing because we talk it. We say that we're not, I can't do this and I can't do that because, I haven't got what it takes. Everybody has what it takes to be whatever they want to be. But when you're put in a situation where people just keep telling you you're not going to amount to anything, you begin to believe it. And that's what a lot of our people are doing. They believe they're not capable because their skin isn't of the right shade to be anything. They believe it, they start to live it.
I think now that has been the case, but it isn't anymore. I think now that's becoming the minority mindset. It used to be the majority, but I think, especially with our young people, they just don't think like that anymore. And, this whole people are negative about Black Lives Matter. I don't understand why. But we've always mattered, but the fact people are protesting and standing with us, I can't see what's negative about it, I'll be honest, I just don't. But anyway, but let me tell you, what's coming out of it is the positive stuff, because black people, you know, you've got businesses, people are like literally asking, you know, they want to know. I want, you know, there's so many black business directories. I don't know how we get them clearly in one platform. There's so many businesses.
Yeah.
But it's important that we push those. Anytime that we see them, we need to keep pushing them. If you go into a business, yes, it's important that we do this. We have to.
But we can also do things like, we can't just wait. Listen, I started a black business because I saw a gap. It's fine. And I found it doesn't matter now, but I think the mindset is important, because you can start a black business and your own people don't support you. But I do believe that mindset has now, I'm not saying it's eradicated, but it's definitely...
But it's changed slightly.
Listen, we've been, you know, you had the whole black pound thing. I've had black people tell me they can't see the point of black pounds. I'm like, why is that an issue? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, supporting other black businesses, or just, listen, you don't have to do a lot right now. No one's telling you don't shop in the supermarket and buy your food.
You just need to support. You just need to support your own.
And support. Why would you have an issue? Come on, you know. But I will say, I've seen a lot of good stuff coming out of this, and that's how we start to make change. Yeah, we support our businesses. We've got, I think there's something online called Buy Black. We need to look at it, because whenever you want to buy something, you can look on there. They've got everything. They've got everything. You know, I recently had 3 carpenters come. Normally I'll go trust a trader. I've called 3 black businesses round to give me a quote for my fence. That's how I'm going to make my change. It's small.
Exactly.
But it's small. It's small changes, but it's
effective.
You continue doing that, and you'll be surprised how many services you've looked for.
Yeah. And it's about consistency as well. At the end of the day, once you start as you mean to go on. That's what I would say. You know, at the end of the day,
trusting each other.
Yeah, get that trust, those values back. You know, believe in our own. We've trusted and believed in other people for too many years, for too many generations, and it's time to actually get back on track. It's important that we get back on track.
Yeah. Not just, you know, my mindset has changed, as I said. We can all change. I'm telling you, it's not too late. I've managed to get myself back in corporate, right? And I think it's not for me now. My plan is, when I get in, I'm going to see if I can get apprenticing, like black children. I want to see if I can get black school children to come and see this world, because we need to get our black children from the schools that they don't encourage to the universities. You know, everybody can do that sort of thing. Let's just see if you've got a business. You know, my daughter was telling me about scholarships where you can pay £50 to help a family buy school uniform or get their school kids books. You know, we can all do something small for our community. It doesn't have to be massive.
And it's and it's really important that, you know, we've discussed a number of things on this show today. We've, you know, really kind of opened up that can of worms, and it's important that today and going forward that we actually really think about how we do things and how can we make a difference and how can we change the things and our values and how we are doing things. We have a journey and a half. We've travelled a journey and a half, and there is so much to be done to get ourselves back on track. This is quite emotional, because it's like whatever we're going through as black women, black people, black mothers, you know, black sisters, we need to make the change. We need to do a lot more. We need to connect with our families.
Yep.
And just go forward in unity. No more excuses, no more buying into something that we were never going to be fully accepted for or be a part of, and just realise and recognise who we actually are as a people, and try and go forward and make a change, make a positive change and make a difference for all of us. This isn't a journey for me or for you. It's a collective. It's something that we need to do now. The time is now. Stop contemplating and procrastinating. It's time to step up to the plate. I want to take this opportunity to thank both Miss Mode and Miss D for coming on today's show. As always, the show can be deep, it can be informative, and it can kind of pull on your heartstrings. The show is designed for us to really be open and honest about how we feel about things that we're being subjected to. It's an opportunity for us to really dig deep and bring up these subjects and these topics that really need to be discussed on a different level. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for listening to today's show.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.